If you want to make a career in cryptocurrency investigation, then this live session is for you. What I'm going to talk about firstly is what crypto investigation really involves. Why is it such a booming field? Who are the kind of people for whom this kind of a career would be suitable? And what are the kind of skills that you need to have? Let me quickly share a mind map. Just give me a second. Okay. I hope this mind map is visible to all of you. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is why cryptocurrency investigation. Now, as we know, cryptocurrency is a multi-trillion dollar industry. The daily transactions are in hundreds of billions. In fact, just one crypto, which is a stablecoin called Tether, has a daily transaction volume of more than $100 billion. Now, a lot of crypto transactions are used in the criminal sector. So, whether we talk about conventional crimes like money laundering, we talk about darknet, we talk about organized criminals, a lot of them use cryptocurrency. Plus, technologically itself, the cryptocurrency world is attacked by a lot of technical exploits. We also see a lot of fraud, scams, and rug pulls which are happening. All of this has created a massive opportunity for investigators who have specialized knowledge of the cryptocurrency and decentralized finance world. Now, ideally speaking, there are several kinds of profiles that are very well suited to build a career in this field. The first one would be police and tax officers. So, where the police are regularly involved in tracking down of the criminal activity, tax officers are involved in cracking down of tax evasion involving cryptocurrency, as well as a lot of money laundering activities that are taking place. The second kind of career profile would be people who are already working in the VASP sector. That's the virtual asset service providers. Now, whether we talk about exchanges, we talk about wallet providers, we talk about payment processors, a lot of people are already working in this sector, and for them, moving into crypto investigation is a very good step. The third would be blockchain and Web3 developers. So, if you already have knowledge of blockchain and Web3, this would be a very suitable career for you. Then there are cybercrime investigators. In fact, that's been my past profile also. So if you are already a cybercrime investigator, then this is a very good area for you to get into. In fact, we can always say that cybercrime investigation includes cryptocurrency investigation. So it's kind of like a subset of that. Then, if you're a fintech or finance professional, whether you're working in a bank, a fintech startup, a financial institution, this would be a good fit for you. If you're in the compliance, anti money laundering, and risk profile, or you are in corporate and cybersecurity, fraud risk investigation, if you're a private investigator, insurance fraud examiner, a chartered accountant, a CPA, a forensic auditor, lawyer, or a legal counsel, or if you are a tech professional or student, then these are the kind of profiles for whom I think a career in crypto investigation is very well suited. Is there any degree offered? No. So there is, as of right now, that's an interesting question. There are no degrees anywhere in the world in this field. I think you can expect to see degrees coming out in universities maybe 5 to 6 years from now. Unfortunately, that's how the organized education sector works. They enter into fields after the field has reached a certain level of maturity. So as of right now, there's nothing on in that line. Now let's talk about some of the skill sets that you need. The first, and obviously one of the very critical skill sets that you need, is understanding of blockchain fundamentals. So you need to understand what blockchain architecture is. What does it really look like? I mean, when we talk about blockchains, we say networks. Okay, great. But how does that network work? How does the user interact? Where do the miners and validators and other entities come in? There's a huge complex ecosystem that's there which you need to understand. So first would be understanding that technology and the architecture. The second would be to understand the record keeping models. Different blockchains use different record keeping models. So, for example, where some of them would use a model which is similar to you giving cash and getting back change, we call this like a UTXO. So, Bitcoin does that. Or it could be like where you pay using a card. So, the amount of money you pay is exactly the amount of money is deducted from your card. So, that's kind of how the account model works in, let's say, Ethereum. Then there are some blockchains which work on hybrid kind of models. Now, understanding these models is very critical because that's going to determine our success in investigations. Then you need to understand keys, addresses, and signing behavior. Another very, very critical aspect. Just like you have bank accounts, you have addresses. But In blockchain, because everything is decentralized, there's no central entity controlling passwords and accounts, keys and addresses become very, very critical. And how signing is done becomes very essential for us to understand. Then we need to know smart contracts and token standards. There are many different kinds of tokens. Different tokens are used for different kinds of illegal activities. So we need to understand this. Then in crypto investigations, evidence could either be on chain, which means on a blockchain, or off chain, which could be in decentralized storage mechanisms. It could be in so many other places. So we need to understand where all that evidence could be found. Then we need to know blockchain explorers. We're going to use them in almost every investigation. And there are so many explorers out there with many advanced features. So that's another very important part of your skill set. If you look at skill number 2, that's where we talk about ecosystem investigations. So when we say ecosystem investigations, the first thing that you need to understand is there isn't just one kind of crypto in the world. There are 65 plus types of crypto assets. So whether we say stable coins, governance tokens, cryptocurrencies, real world tokenized assets, there are 65 plus types of these assets. We need to understand all of them, and we need to understand what kind of crimes, what kind of attacks target which kind of cryptocurrency. Then different ecosystems are used by different kinds of criminals. So you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, Tron, Binance, Solana. Then you have the privacy coin ecosystem. Then you have the stable coin and tokenized asset ecosystem. You have centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, the DeFi ecosystem. All of these are different. In many ways, they connect to each other, but all of them are targeted or used by different kinds of criminals. So we need to understand how those ecosystems work, what kind of tools and techniques we use to investigate those ecosystems. So that's another very critical part of your skill. Finally, there are many blockchains which have inherent ability to freeze tokens. There are many cryptocurrencies which can be frozen by a centralized entity. So that's another very important thing that we need to understand. So that takes care of skill number 2, which is ecosystem investigations. Now let's go on to skill number 3. Keep posting your questions and I'll answer them in some time. Now, when we talk about skill 3, we're talking about crime topologies and investigation tactics. So there are 4 kinds of or categories of cryptograms. The first is cryptocurrency financial crimes. So you may have heard about things like rug pulls, insider trading, insider dumps, scams, and phishing. Very common, multi-billion dollars every year. We need to understand how to investigate each of those. The second category that comes in, slightly more complex, are technical exploits in cryptocurrency protocols. So there's a concept called flash loans. Those are exploited. We have smart contract vulnerabilities that get exploited. We have cross chain bridge which gets attacked or compromised. So those involve a lot more technical knowledge, but again, a very critical part of crypto crime. The third category is cryptocurrency enabled money laundering. The amount of money laundering which is happening using crypto is so large, so massive, that it deserves a category of its own. Now, in that, there are various techniques that are used, so we need to understand them. Mixers, tumblers, privacy coins like Monero and Zcash, stablecoin based laundering, chain hopping, NFT laundering, all these various technologies and techniques are part of the skill set here. Finally, we need to understand how organized crime is using cryptocurrency. So drug traffickers use it in a different way. Darknet markets, different way. Then we have firearms, the illegal guns manufacturers and traders. Then we have illegal gambling. We have counterfeit of fake products. You have wildlife smuggling. Even that involves a lot of crypto. You have cybercrime syndicates. You have terrorism financing. All of these organized criminals use crypto and blockchain in different ways. So we need to understand how they operate so that we can effectively tackle those crimes. Then we come to skill number 4. Now, this is a slightly long and complex sounding skill. Let me explain to you broadly what that means. We're talking about investigating secure communications, anonymity infrastructure, and hidden internet ecosystems. The first thing is investigating parallel internets. Now, some of you may get confused. What do we mean by parallel internets? Everybody thinks there's just one internet. No. The common internet that we use every day, right now you're watching this on YouTube, it's running on what we call as a surface net or the clear net. That's the public internet that everyone is used to. Then comes the Tor or Onion network, where we see a lot of darknet markets. But that's just two. There are many other parallel internets like even I2P and so many others that you may not have even heard of. We need to understand how each of them can be investigated, which is why we say investigating parallel internets. These are not simple to understand, but they are critical for us to know. Then we have encrypted messaging platforms. So, for example, a lot of criminals could use Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, and so many other messaging apps. So, we need to understand in each of these kind of encrypted messaging platforms, where is the evidence stored? Where are the forensic artifacts? What is the data that we need to recover and add into our investigation? Similar to that, we have the encrypted email services. Then we have decentralized hosting and storage protocols. So again, the blockchain world has created a completely different way in which data can be stored forever. So we need to understand how that works. Things like IPFS come into the picture here. RV you may have heard about. So we need to understand how they work and how do we recover this evidence. Then we have decentralized domains and censorship resistance protocols that we need to be able to investigate. And then we have investigative risks and field safety considerations that we need to know so that the evidence that we are collecting is actually admissible in a court of law and doesn't get tampered. Like I said, whatever questions you have, please feel free to keep posting them and I'll take them in some time. Then let's come on to skill number 5. This is something a lot of you may have heard about, which is wallet forensics. Now, in the world of crypto and blockchain, wallet is probably one of the most important aspects. So, firstly, we need to know what are the types of wallets and what are the usage profiles. What are the identifiers and forensic artifacts that these wallets are going to leave on the laptop, on a server, on paper, on a pen drive? All of this comes into the picture here. So wallets are of many different types. There are browser based, there are mobile wallets, there are hardware wallets, there are custodial wallets, there are multi-signature wallets. All of these are very different from each other. We need to understand how to seize them. We need to understand how to take that evidence and make it admissible in a court of law. We need to know how to analyze all these transactions that are happening. So there are wallet seizure protocols and evidence handling. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are at the crime scene and you come across a crypto wallet, and let's say it's a hardware wallet. So it's like on a pen drive. Or let's say it's a browser based wallet. It's on a laptop. Now you shut the laptop and you switch off the internet connection to it. Now, you may think that the crypto is now locked in the laptop and it is completely safe. Not at all. It is very possible that an accomplice of the criminal is somewhere else in the world and they also have the private keys and they can just move all the crypto out of the wallet. So, while the laptop has been confiscated by you, all the crypto has vanished in the backend, which is why it is very important during such kind of investigations for us to actually move the seized crypto into a wallet which is maintained by the law enforcement agency. Then we can say that okay, the crypto has been properly seized. So that's another very important thing that needs to be kept in mind. So that is why we call these as wallet seizure protocols and evidence handling. Then we need to investigate cross-chain wallet activity. Then we need to be able to link wallets to real-world identities. So a wallet is like an alphanumeric string that you're looking at. Now, how do we connect that to real-world people who are actually the criminals behind that particular wallet? That's another very important aspect. We need to understand seed phrases, key store files, and signing logs. We need to be able to do forensics on them. Finally, there are very interesting concepts called dusting, change outputs, and shared control. That's something we need to again understand and apply to our investigations. Then let's come on to the second last skill, which is skill number 6, field operations. Here we are talking about the person going to the actual crypto crime scene and is at the field. Now, what are the things that person needs to do within that short period of time before that evidence can actually be lost? So you need to be able to identify the crypto evidence. I mean, just looking and you see on a piece of paper there's some alphanumeric string. That could be a wallet, that could be a private key, that could be anything critical. So you need to understand what are the kinds of evidence that you are likely to find in a physical or digital crime scene. Then how to seize the devices, how to preserve the data, or especially the volatile data, how to handle the recovery mechanisms, how to take care of the sensitive key and other data, then how to document all the digital assets that you're seizing, how to document the chain of custody for that, how to coordinate on site with cybercrime and forensic teams. All of that comes under skill 6, which is about field operations. Finally, there is skill number 7, which is the legal process. Now, we can't just say that, okay, let that be only for the lawyers to handle. No. If you are a crypto analyst, crypto investigator, you need to understand the legal processes also, starting with the legal instruments and the lawful process. So, whether it's a subpoena in the US or it is an FIR in India, there are different techniques or names or kinds of legal instruments that are used in different countries. So, you need to understand that broadly for the top countries, because crypto crimes are usually cross border in nature. So, it may involve jurisdiction of multiple countries. So, that's another thing we need to understand. Then there is the FATF travel rule. So when transactions happen between two regulated VASPs, there are certain rules and regulations that have been put in by the Financial Action Task Force. So we need to understand that. Then we need to know that if we need cooperation across countries, like the exchange involved in a particular case may be from one country, the criminal may be from another country, the victim may be in a third country. So that's where cross-border cooperation and MLAT treaties come into the picture. We have admissibility of evidence. Different countries have different rules that needs to be taken into account. Court presentation, again, different countries, different courts, different techniques need to be used. How to prepare an expert witness. A lot of times the court may not be very comfortable understanding the technology of blockchain and crypto. That is where we need to bring in an expert witness. So we need to prepare that expert witness for the testimony also. We need to look at the data governance, the jurisdictional risk. We need to see the case coordination. Then the asset management and liquidation, like you seize the asset. Now, what do you do with them? Even while the case is going on, the government or the court may allow you to sell off the assets, convert the money into fiat, and deposit it with the court. Now, how do we actually go about doing things like that? All that needs to be covered. And finally, defense readiness and counter forensics. All of this comes under the skill number 7, which is the legal processes. I hope all of this was clear to all of you. Now that we've understood the skills, the final step is, okay, how do we go about building these skills? So I've designed the Cryptocurrency Crime Analyst course, CCA, keeping in mind all these skill sets. So I've prepared the Cryptocurrency Investigation and Forensics Manual that will only be available to students of this course. I've also created a large number of videos explaining all the different tools and techniques that are going to be used. I've prepared a lot of live case studies and practical labs, which are based on real life crimes which have happened, so that you actually get exposure on real cases. How do you go about investigating a case right from step 1 till presenting the evidence in a court of law? And of course, there are going to be a lot of live sessions which are going to be scheduled every first and third Wednesday of the month. So you're going to have a lot of live sessions where whatever questions you have, whatever doubts you have, you can always bring them up to me and I'll answer them for you. Now, let me, okay, stop this thing. Now, let me see some of the questions. Testing background with 14 years of this thing. Can I? Of course, yes, definitely. So if you've been in IT testing, definitely as an IT professional, this could be a very good area for you to go into. Another thing which I noticed nowadays, a lot of people are worried that will AI come and take over my career? Especially a lot of techies are always worried about that. And I'm very happy to say that crypto investigation is an area where you don't have to worry about AI taking you over. Investigation involves getting into the mind of the criminal, understanding how they work, understanding what they may have been done, analyzing that evidence, finally presenting it in court. Now, those are not the kind of things that AI can do. At least I would say not for the next several years to come. So for a lot of people who are looking at AI displacing them, crypto investigation will be a very, very good area for you to start looking into. Other than that, if you have any questions, please put them in. If you do not have questions right now, you can always watch this video later, post your question, and I'll definitely give you an answer to that. I'll be doing a lot more live sessions, so just follow this particular YouTube account that you're on right now. Thanks for your detailed presentation. Is there a deadline for enrollment? So the course starts on the 1st of Jan, so you can take admission anytime now. There are about 15-20 days to go, so you can start off immediately. If there are any other questions, I'll just wait for a few seconds. Otherwise, we can always take this on later. There's also a WhatsApp group that I run, which is for cryptocurrency investigation and security. So you can always message me. I'll put the link up here and you're most welcome to join that. We regularly discuss all sorts of cases that are happening. You can also post on that. In AML, sanctions, how crypto investigations are different from AML investigations. So when we talk about anti-money laundering investigations, crypto is now emerging as the massive way in which money laundering happens. Now, to investigate that, you need to understand the crypto and blockchain ecosystem in great detail. So I'm not saying it replaces AML investigations, but it becomes a very critical part of it. So today you may be looking at conventional laundering. Now you have to understand how crypto exchanges, banks, crypto processors, blockchains, wallets, mixers, tumblers, all of these are used for investigation. That's where this fits in. I hope that answers your question. Will all the sessions be administered virtually, especially for yes? So all the sessions are going to be virtual, and anybody anywhere in the world can take part in that. So don't worry about that. Whichever country you are in, that's not a problem. You can definitely take part. There are also government discounts and group discounts which are available. So if you represent any law enforcement agencies, do get in touch with us. If you have groups, do get in touch with us, and there are a lot of discounts available for that. And don't worry, wherever in the world you are, you will be able to do this completely digitally. Uh, is there in my required to become a crypto analyst, or can we work on some projects? Okay, I'm guessing what you're trying to say is that after doing the course, can you start working on projects? If that's your question, definitely you can. Because like I said, there are a lot of live cases and others which are built into the course. So you will be able to take on real world investigations immediately. We are, of course, also going to be working to try to get you guys connected to companies who are hiring or taking on people with this kind of expertise. So that's definitely something we can also try helping you with. There's once again, do you have involved chain analysis or elliptic or any additional blockchain investing? Yes, there are a lot of tools that are going to be here. We're going to talk about commercial tools. We are also going to talk about the open source and the non-commercial tools. Yes, you will be exposed to a lot of the tools and techniques. Now, one thing I want to clarify here, this is not an easy course to do. So you will have to study hard. There are several assessments, one based on each skill and then one based on the entire course. There's a lot of courseware that you need to study. That's the reason I've given you a long time. I think it's if I'm not mistaken, I forgot if it's a 3-month or a 4-month course. I think it's a 4-month course. I've given you enough time, but you will have to put in effort. It's not going to be very easy. So don't think that you could just crack the exam and pass. No, that won't even help you. Only if you're ready to put in the work, then you should join this course. How much is the fees? So the fees is mentioned on the side. The basic fee is 45,000 rupees plus taxes. In the UAE, there's a separate fee for foreigners. And if you are part of law enforcement or if you're part of a group, then there are discounts which are available. Other tools certification? No, you do not require any certifications from tools before that. Will you be issuing any official certificate? Yes, you will definitely be getting an official certification, which will be verifiable digitally. So you will be a certified person. Your data will also be available on our site so that if anybody wants to hire you, they'll be able to see your profile. They'll be able to see the kind of work that you're doing, and they'll be able to directly get in touch with you also. So yes, you will definitely get a certification, an official certificate, which will be online verifiable. Any requirements one needs to have prior to starting the course? Very good question. So, like I said in the beginning, the kind of people for whom this is developed, if you fit into one of those categories, then you already kind of have the background knowledge in place. And other than that, I would say before the course starts, if you want to start getting familiar, just start with one very simple thing. Download MetaMask. It's a very interesting free wallet which you can download. You can run it on your phone, you can run it in your browser. Just start to use it. Simply by using it, your knowledge of cryptocurrency will actually improve quite a bit. Now, in the course, we've created some of our own sample cryptocurrencies. These are real cryptocurrency. They obviously do not have a value. They're not listed on an exchange, but we have created them to be part of the course. So you're actually going to be investigating these real life networks and cryptocurrencies also. So MetaMask is kind of a very good way for you to get started even before the course starts. Any requirement? Okay, I think that's more or less all the questions. Like I said, if you have more questions, you can always put them in. I'll take them later also. And I look forward to interacting with all of you. It was great interacting, and see you soon. Bye-bye.